So apparently, the whole Microsoft conference has leaked from this NeoGAF user who seems to have some sort of insider information. He made a giant post talking about what exactly will be on the Microsoft stage. He not only posted this huge leak in a forum, he also gave these leaks stages of probability. There is what is going to happen, what has a high chance of happening, and studios the company is looking to acquire. Now, I'm going to be real with you people, this entire thing could be wrong and we should all take this with a giant, and I mean giant, grain of salt. But I wanted to make this video and go through every section that he discusses and tell you what he says will be there and what might not be there. But before I do all that, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. The support is greatly appreciated. But enough of that, let's dive right into this leak. But remember, this is all rumored stuff and nothing official. So let's start with the first section, which he goes into great detail and even calls some of the things in this section to be very obvious. And I'm going to be going into these very rapidly, so let's have some fun with this and talk about some E3 hype. First up is obviously Halo Infinite, which will have an info dump plus new trailer and a holiday 2020 release. It says it's going to be a cross-gen game. Now we know that Halo Infinite will be at the E3 showing. This is very obvious, especially since Halo was announced and shown last year. So there's no big surprises there, but I hope to see some gameplay mechanics and a lot more details into what they have planned for the franchise, which moves me on to the next game, which is Gears 5. This will be shown with full gameplay reveal, demo walkthrough, plus multiplayer, and a September release date. The release date is indeed real, which might indicate that September 10th release date might actually be something that's happening. This leaked a few days ago, so a lot of people didn't think it was real, but after seeing this and a bunch of other people, maybe that September release date is actually happening. Now on to one of my most anticipated games at the conference, which is going to be Gears Tactics, which will have an info dump plus new trailer and a release date for PC later this year. And I've heard personally from others that this game is coming to Xbox, but might take a few months after PC, which I don't really care honestly, because I just want this game in my hands as soon as possible. And I understand that they want to make this for PC first, because Halo Wars 2 really suffered as an RTS when they made it for the controller first. A lot of these type of strategy games really do shine in the PC market, which is mouse and keyboard. So get it down pat there and then move it over to controller for people to use on Xbox, which I think they won't have that much trouble considering XCOM is a great way to start off. But moving on, we have Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which will show a final trailer with the final release date for later this year. And of course this one is obvious because the sequel to the highly rated Ori game was announced last year. I expect a cool trailer that tugs at the heartstrings and some awesome gameplay mechanics that showcase how nice the game looks. But now let's move on to the next one. This is a new big IP coming from the recent studio. We have Bleeding Edge, which is Ninja Theory's next game, and the leak says this: I am hearing two conflicting reports. One stating that it's a co-op horde-like sci-fi shooter with aliens across different planets and intense boss fights, and another report that it's an arena multiplayer PvP game. I have no 100% confirmation yet on what exactly it is. One thing for sure is that it is indeed a game in a sci-fi universe and most likely a cross-gen title as well for 2020. Now for me, I've made a video about this one and I have to say it's a game I'm extremely excited about, especially since it seems to focus on co-op and multiplayer. And I will always take those. I love playing with my friends and I really enjoy games that are very multiplayer and co-op focused. I just find them way more gratifying and a lot more fun to play. But moving on from there, the next game is The Outer Worlds. This one will have an info dump, new gameplay trailer, and a release date that is obviously from the new studio Obsidian Entertainment, who Microsoft just acquired. So it's going to be awesome to see what they have in their stable of talent, especially since they are not really bringing out games lately, and they've really hired a lot of people to that studio. So I want to see what they can do with Outer Worlds, to see what kind of worlds they can build, to see what kind of things they can do, and it's going to be awesome to see kind of the future of what Xbox holds and their studios within. Then of course there will be another showing of Cyberpunk 2077, which will show us a progress update, new gameplay trailer, and a targeted date. This is no surprise. Cyberpunk was shown to end the show last year, and a lot of people were hyped. And then they got like behind the scenes gameplay trailers and a bunch of gameplay that was like an hour long, and the public didn't really get to see it. I really hope they show some new gameplay mechanics, and I think it's going to be a lot different than what we saw last year, because they always indicated, hey, this isn't the final product, so don't expect this type of gameplay, but it's what we have for now. From there, we will see Age of Empires 4 with an info dump, gameplay reveal, 2020 release, and this game is one I'm looking forward to a lot because I'm a huge RTS fan and I can't wait to see what happens with this franchise. Relic has made some of the best RTSs out there, Company of Heroes, Warhammers. I really love that studio and they're the ones working on this, so I'm extremely excited to see what they bring to the table with Age of Empires 4. And I know Microsoft themselves really want this game to take off for the PC market, and I'm excited to see what they can do with RTSs because I feel like that's a genre that's been kind of laid to waste and we haven't gotten many games for those, and I love that genre. And now the new resurgence of an IP everyone knows about, which is Fable. This is obviously nothing new, and a lot of people know about this game, and that Playground Games is behind it with their new team. Now, most people will want it to be a direct sequel to 3, but I do think that rebooting this franchise and giving it new life is the right way to play this one. So we shall see what they do with it, and I hope they kind of reveal it so a lot of people are excited, because I know that's a huge Xbox franchise that people absolutely adore. Next up is my personal favorite new IP this generation, and that is Sea of Thieves. Joe Neate and Mike Chapman confirmed in one of their recent dev updates on their official Sea of Thieves YouTube channel that they will be in teaser mode for the upcoming Sea of Thieves content at this year's E3, especially after they just brought out an awesome update that introduced us all to the Tall Tales and the arena, plus, of course, fishing. I love the Sea of Thieves game, and I just want more information. If it's on the stage, cool. If not, I hope they have it on like the shows after, the couple days after, where they just give you a bunch of information and tease you a bunch of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And now the next game, which is Battletoads, which they announced last year with a 2019 release date. We will see some gameplay and finally see how the game looks, plays, and feels, along with a final release target as well. I actually don't mind this game. I hope it's a pretty fun couch co-op game or even a co-op game online with your buddies. I'm not really looking forward to it and like, oh man, I'm so excited. But you know what? Hey man, if it's going to be on Game Pass, I'm excited to play it and I want to see. Battletoads is a really old-fashioned kind of franchise, so I'm looking forward to actually checking that one out. Then we will move on to the tech side with Project XCloud, which again will have an info dump, public test dates, rollouts. This will be one of Microsoft's biggest, if not the biggest focus this year prior to next-gen system launches. This is something I'm truly excited to see because I believe the streaming service can be something really cool in gaming. Being able to take the games with you where you go is something I really love. There's been multiple times where I'm just kind of chilling and I have Wi-Fi and great connection and I have my phone and I wish I just had my controller. I always have a backpack with me because I try to take laptops with me wherever I go. So if I could just put my controller in there and take it with me and play my games wherever I'm at for half an hour or an hour, whenever I'm just hanging out, I really want to do that. So I'm really looking forward to this. And they just had a partnership with Sony. Google's coming right around the corner with Stadia. This is going to be a focus at E3 and I'm excited to see what they can do. But now for the meat and the potatoes, which is the new systems, Xbox Lockhart and Xbox Anaconda. The leak says it will have a Scorpio-style reveal, similar to E3's 2016 Scorpio/Xbox One X tease. No physical look of the console, but a baseline of specs including teraflops, RAM, bandwidth, CPU, SSD, and of course, ray tracing. This is considered a small reveal. Full reveal most likely next year. We're still a year and a half from the launch of the new gen system, and there are still many third-party and first-party titles to come out yet on current gen system. But yes, the tease and the obvious semi-reveal at this point is well on its way, which we've heard from people in multiple sources that Microsoft will show off the specs of the new console, especially if Sony decides to show their specs, which they kind of have with the SSD and a couple other things, later this year, especially when they go into far more detail. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think Xbox is really going to come with the hammer on this one. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Anaconda specs are. And wow, that's a lot of information for what's more than likely going to happen. But now let's dive into what has a high chance of happening. First up is Mech Assault / a mech game, which will be revealed. And the leak says this: Microsoft owns the rights to Mech Assault. For those who do not know, there's a very high chance that a new mech game has been in the works and it will be finally revealed here. We've heard about this rumor for a little while now, so this might actually be a possibility. As for me personally, I don't really care for mech games, but again, I haven't played them in years, so I'm really looking forward to trying it out. I hope it does something different and the tech behind it is really cool, and they really reimagined a lot of the things around it. So I'm looking forward to that game. But next is a game that a lot of people love, which is the next Forza Motorsport, which will be revealed, and the leak explains this by saying, it's been a while since Turn 10 has showcased anything, and this year they're skipping Forza, most likely to release with next-gen systems next year as a first-party next-gen racing experience. Very good chance for a tease/reveal. Now, I truly believe this is going to be a ray tracing extravaganza game. I think the Forza games really push the boundaries on graphics, performance, and everything, and I think there's going to be a real big showcase next gen or at the end of next year when ray tracing starts becoming a possibility on the next gen consoles. So I wouldn't be surprised if Forza is one of those games that a lot of people get to see and go, wow, that's really awesome. Just like Forza Motorsports was the showcase piece for the Xbox One X at 4K 60 frames per second. Then the leak goes on about a new Capcom game that will be revealed and how Capcom has really pleased their fan base by releasing high quality games that people were asking for. Games like Resident Evil and Monster Hunter World. I know a bunch of people love those. I personally really liked Resident Evil 2 and absolutely hated Monster Hunter World. But that's just me. Which this goes directly with the next topic, which is more Japanese games. Last year's E3, Microsoft had quite a lot of Japanese developers at their stage. I expect more of the same this year with a few surprises as well, and this is good news because I know a lot of players on Xbox that really want solid Japanese developer support. And I directly made a video about this when Phil Spencer himself went to Japan and visited a bunch of developers around the whole area. And that was really cool because you know he wants to keep his finger on the pulse with the Japanese developers. But now let's talk about the studios Microsoft is approaching or studios they have bought. First up is IO Interactive, which is a studio that has been rumored for a very long time. I've made videos about this studio and how I think they would be a pretty cool addition, especially if they are going to be given a new franchise to work on. I think the Hitman game is holding them back from being very successful. And the next studio is a studio I absolutely adore, and that's Relic Entertainment. The leak states that Microsoft is speaking with them. They want a studio dedicated to RTS games, and they're also the ones making Age of Empires 4 for them exclusively as well at the moment. However, Sega is a bit of a barricade at the moment, so let's hope this goes through because it would be one of the best announcements at E3 for me. And the last rumored studio is Asobo Studio, who just brought out a very well-made game in A Plague's Tale: Innocence, which I've heard nothing but positive things about, and I've had friends highly recommend this game to me. So this could be a very up-and-coming studio that Microsoft might want to snatch up. They have a bunch of people on staff, and I think it's going to be one of those studios that really surprises a lot of people with their high quality and their talent. Now that's everything in the leak, but I want to go into what I think about this whole thing. I honestly think it's very safe and something that a lot of people that are hardcore fans kind of already expected. It's nothing that's wowing us and it's nothing that stands out in this leak. So while I think a lot of this might have some truth to it, I still think this whole leak should be taken with a huge grain of salt because everyone knows a lot of this information, especially the studios and the announced games, even some of the unannounced games, aren't that spectacular or new. So I hope that Microsoft does do this, but also adds a little bit more, maybe something that hasn't leaked like we got with the Ninja Theory deal last year. When they announced they acquired Ninja Theory, the whole arena gasped. Everybody did. Everybody in every podcast, everybody was like, wow, I can't believe they got that studio. I want something like that, a wow moment where we are completely taken aback and didn't expect it. Either a studio acquisition or a game. Most likely, I want to see a game that just blows us away. But enough about what I think about all this. Let me know what you guys think. Does this leak make you excited for E3? Does Microsoft have to completely wow you to impress you? Is this enough for you to be satisfied with Xbox? What would you like to hear announced to make this conference a success? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. Any support helps the channel out more than you know. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my videos. Also, follow me on Twitch. The link will be in the description. If you want to hang out and chat with me, I'm very active with my chat and always playing games. I'll hope to see you guys there. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.